Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland and Arsenal podcast. I'm Gunnar Gimley and tonight I'll be joined by... First up, he's our producer, Mini Chedding Destroyer, and I'm told he's just learned how to make dogs hump on GTA. It's Danny the GFP. Hello, Danny.
Hump on GTA?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I know what Grand GTA means, you fucktard. What do you mean dogs hump?
Shag each other.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've played the game, but that's not one of the missions I remember.
I'm sure it was you that told me that.
No, you're fucking imagining. I've not played any games for weeks. Anyway, move this along.
Okay. Next up, a man who's told me the gloves are off tonight. It's the one and only Jeff Arsenal. Hello, Jeff.
Evening, gentlemen.
Boo.
It's Jeff means his marigolds are off.
You can't talk yet. You've not been introduced.
You're not even here officially.
Yeah, officially, you're not in the room. Next up, joining us all the way from sunny Poland is our finances man. It's Mr. Lord Hillwood. Hello, Steve.
Hello, mate. Freshly returned from North London. Had a 2-day stint in the Essex Road recently.
Oh, it's nice to have you back. You been up to much lately?
Well, no, I must have been up to something. Somebody wrote a song about me and called it My Senile Sweet.
Really?
My Senile Sweetheart. I can't even fucking pronounce it.
You just emphasised everything they mentioned.
Yeah.
Right.
I came back from London with a Arsenal kit for Hillwood Jr. I raided Marks and Spencer's food hall in Luton Airport, and I've got a fridge full of bacon, sausages, and pies. So I'm an happy man.
Oh, sounds good to me. Completing tonight's lineup from the quite wonderful Goonosphere podcast, it's Mr. Daniel Cowan. Hello, Daniel.
How's it going, Gimli, sweetheart?
Oh, do you know what? Justice for Gimli's penis. Thank you for getting me that £45,000. I'm still eating Subway to this day.
And a new penis.
And a new penis, which is the
Hopefully it
most
was bigger
important.
than the last one.
Well, it certainly squirts more.
Well, they did give him 10 grand for every inch that he lost.
Is that why he got 45?
Yeah, he lied.
Spending on a new car as well, wasn't he? Apparently.
Yeah.
It's just a walnut whip.
And I think you'll find this like a Coke can.
Have you got
Right.
your new car yet?
No, not yet.
Are you going to tell anyone what your registration plate is, or are you going to keep that secret for a special occasion?
I'm keeping it a secret. You'll find out in due course.
I know what it is. It's quite impressive.
It's just that if I went and told people at the moment, there might be the chance to buy it still. So
I'm going to go and buy it. It's yours for £1,000.
don't buy it, fucker. No, please. Right. So we'll start off then. We've got 2 matches to talk about, but let's jump right in and start with the FA Cup game at home to the Scouse. Danny, if you, I know every week. If you could start us off with your thought on this one, please.
I was trying to find the Swansea game on TV, trying to find it on ITV HD. I was pretty impressed. First of all, I was a bit annoyed with the lineup. Then, because I've got 25 quid on Arsenal to do the double at 18-1 with Bet Victor, and I thought, after such a humiliating defeat at their place, to come out and play a team with quite a few players missing. I'm just looking at the lineup. Goalkeeper was different. Monreal, Jenkinson, and Sanogo up front. I'm quite fingers crossed that Sanogo's going to do something. So I thought maybe there. But Fabianski, I'm taking out Fabianski. He's now Fabianski. Fabulous Ansky. He was brilliant. Absolutely loved what he did. Jenkinson down the right wing just showed me how much Sagna. There you go, John. French John. Sagna. How much we're missing with Sagna with his ability to cross and his constant. I mean, is there a better athlete in the team than Jenkinson? I ask myself. Don't know. Don't think there is. He is absolutely relentless, up and down there, like Gimli's draws after a dodgy curry, and crossing, tracking back. He's still got the mental part of the game to accomplish, but the physical part of the game, the running up and down, I think is absolutely brilliant. It was nice to see Flamini back. I thought he was really good, but Oxlade-Chamberlain. He was different gravy, as our Jeff would say. And although all the Liverpool fans were bitching that they should have had the second penalty, it's a little bit shitty when you've already had one penalty and you're trying to get another penalty to win a game when they know Gerrard should have been sent off. But the funniest thing of that game was the fact that the Ox took down Suarez and Suarez he'd been shot with a 12-bore rifle from 2 foot right in front of the referee, and the referee just went, Nah, that was the most blatant penalty I'd seen in years, and to get it against them bunch of diving Scouse Northern monkeys made my fucking day. Well done, the whole team, and I really enjoyed the game.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Danny. You talked a little bit about Sonogo's surprise inclusion. Jeff, would you like to touch on how he did in the game?
I think he done a fantastic job, mate. You know, you got to remember that Liverpool put out a full strength team. There was outcry, wasn't there? I was watching Twitter an hour and a half before the game. I had a quick look at it, and there was outcry that Sonogo was starting, and the team looked weak. And what I was reading was we was definitely going to get beat. And some people two or three people that I saw was, you know what, I've had enough of this. Hope we get beat because then Wenger can, he'll get run out at the end of the season, etc., etc. But I think we did a great job on a really, really good Liverpool team, because they are a good side. You know, they've got plenty of goals in them. We was under the cosh for a lot of the game, but we survived it. Like you say, Flappy had a good game. Jenks had a good game. Monreal, Flamini, the Ox, they all played really, really well. And at the end of the day, it's difficult to beat teams like that because they were on a great run. Liverpool got bags of confidence, and they really did fancy coming to our gaff, especially once they saw the team. I bet they thought, God, they fancied it really, but they got well turned over, and we deserved it really. We dug in there. Contained them for the whole of the second half, and really done a job on them really. So it was a fantastic result, and on we go into the quarters with Everton.
Yes, definitely. Steve, over to you next. Who stood out for you, and where do you think the game was really won and lost on the pitch?
Well, I think what Sonogo gave us, when you add him and the Oxen, you've got runners, you've got mobility, you've got a bit of pace. That gives Ozil something to aim for, and also as well, it's quite obvious that Liverpool's defence are not really that good, and they don't really like being muscled off the ball. And Sonogo's a handful. He works bloody hard. I was really impressed with him actually. And Chamberlain, doesn't have any qualms at running anybody, and that's where the game was won. As for Suarez, the guy's a brilliant player. It really is time he stopped being a cheating Scouse fucking cunt. Sorry, he dived for the first fucking penalty. And then he's gone up in the air like someone's blown him apart with a bloody tank when the Ox has done him in front of the ref. And the ref has known full well it's a pen. He's not giving it because he knows Suarez is a cunt. Simple as that. Reputation preceded him. But it was nice to end their season because they ain't going to win anything now.
And
before I go, but the other thing is that I think Sonogo adds something up front that we haven't had for a while. Mobility. Direction, he links up play, does all the things Giroud do, but he's faster. Plus, he doesn't mind barging into people, as we saw last night.
Yeah, definitely. Daniel, over to you next. We'll carry on with the theme of Sonogo. Now, a lot of people would not have seen him as a player or seen much of him in an Arsenal shirt, being as he only played one reserve game. What did you make of him? Because many people actually thought he would be this small little French kid that had lightning pace, but he's actually quite a unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an absolute fucking beast. We said on our pod earlier, he was a brick shithouse, and I think what did we end up calling him? Said he was a formidable unit, which I said sounded more like something he would have rather than something he is. But yeah, it's like Steve said, he brings all of what Giroud brings, but he's a lot more dynamic with it. I think what I like about him is he has all of the elements of the type of player that suits the system that we play. I know everybody really wants us to have that sort of something out of nothing striker, and it would be great to have that option, but this season the way that we play our game has really been with a forward who you can play off of, and Sonogo has shown that he can do that, and he also brings a lot of sort of youthful exuberance, but I think that's slightly tempered with a bit of rashness in front of goal. But I mean, Giroud's hardly target man of the year in front of the goal. He's not really gonna smash in 1 in 3 chances. So having someone who does a few air kicks every now and again, isn't really a big deal, because I think he brings a lot. He brings a lot more. So I was really impressed with him, actually.
I think he's something different, and he's a bit of an untapped resource that not many teams will know anything about on how to defend against him. So I think he's only positive when it comes to the team. But we'll move on to Ozil watch, and we'll go back to you, Danny. I know you're a fan of his. So what did you make of his performance against the Scouse?
I thought he was domineering, which is what you want and what you expect from a player like him. It's so hard. Like we're all saying, is he shit? And people are giving him grief all the time. But he's surrounded by players. I mean, Arteta for me had an awful game as usual, and he's surrounded by players that are either. The only player I would say against Liverpool that was really on their game, apart from the back five, was the Ox, and I think the interaction he had with the Ox, he makes other players look good with his ability to read the game. I mean, at one point, didn't he run down into the Liverpool area, or maybe that was the 5-1? Oh, no, I can't remember. It was one of the two games against Liverpool, and he took on 4 players, and then passed the ball left to Arteta, and then Arteta passed it to someone else. Was that the 5-1 or was that this one? Because I can't remember.
It was FA Cup.
Yeah, so that's the game I'm thinking about. And then you think the amount of time he has just got the ability, two-footed ability to make any player look world class. And when you're playing with the likes of the Ox and Flamini, and I just imagine what he'd be like if Walcott was playing on the other wing. He would be setting people up. He can cross, he can track back. He's doing absolutely everything. And I think he's just such a fantastic player. And if hopefully we can keep him this summer, because I don't see much chance of him going. But if we can keep him, and we can get a couple of other players to have him in the squad with him and play more regularly that have maybe not his ability, because players like him are very far and few between, or few and far between, whichever way around that goes. But we need to get a few more players that are on his level, a Bergkamp, an Henry, a Vieira, players that instinctively they're mind reading each other. They know where they're going to be. It's like Ian Wright used to say about Bergkamp. Bergkamp always knew where Ian Wright was going to be, and the same with Henry. Henry knew that if he ever found space, Bergkamp would give the ball to him. He never had to worry about that, and that's the kind of player that I see Ozil is. But I think his stats at the moment is 2 assists in 10 games. Now, we've got a couple of games coming up, Stoke and Sunderland, I think it is. I think he needs a rest. Give him a rest for those 2 games, and then he'll be back fresh for the Everton in the FA Cup. But he's just mesmerising. You have to watch his entire game and how good he makes other players look.
Jeff, over to you again. Danny mentioned there about how good Ozil and Walcott were starting to look together. It really did look like they were just starting to click. Is it any coincidence that we've seen a player with pace like Chamberlain come into the team and seen him do well with Ozil playing alongside him? Is there any significance to that in relation to Walcott, do you think?
Well, I think he does. To get the best out of Ozil, I think you do need players with pace that can run into the space, because he'll thread all them balls through, you know. Because Ozil is the type of player, he'll pass the ball where you're supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, that describes it perfectly. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, the ball is supposed to be passed into a particular area, and you're supposed to be there. If you don't get there, that's your problem, and that's the problem that we have at the moment. He's making these passes where you are supposed to be, or you are supposed to be going into, but if the players are ain't quick enough to get there, or they just don't make the run, they haven't got it in their head, then it makes Ozil look at a bad player. But he's world class, and you know, we just got to give him a little bit of time to settle in. You know, like I said, I think on the last podcast that, you know, Bobby Perez needed a season and a half to really get going, and I can see him being a fantastic player for Arsenal. I don't see any problems at all. I can't understand how people have a little moan about him, and that no doubt he's tired. He's played nearly every single game this season. I think we've covered it before. When he was at Madrid, he was only playing maybe 70 minutes, or he was coming off the bench. So it's been a difficult time for him, but I can only see good in him. You see he's a world-class player. His first touch is excellent. He always seemed like he's got time on the ball, and that's what you get out of a world-class player. They always look like they've got time on the ball. So we just have to wait and wait till he really gets into his stride, and I think we'll have a worldie. I really do.
Steve, we saw with Cesc Fabregas in his first couple of seasons at Arsenal that he really needed to bulk up to look the part and actually, play a significant role within the team. Do you think we're going to see the same with Ozil, that he needs to add a little bit of muscle to his game to be able to compete in the Premier League?
No, I don't think he needs to at all. And I don't agree with the comparison between the two players, because Ozil was about 5 times a better player than Fabregas was when he was at Arsenal. You don't need to bulk up if you can stand around like he was at some points in that game against Liverpool with 5 players around you holding the ball off of them. He doesn't use his body to do it. He uses his brain and his feet, and he uses his eyes and his mind. So he doesn't need to bulk up. And I think what he does need to sharpen up is maybe he needs to add some speed training to his regime, so that he actually has got a better burst of pace over the first 5 yards. Because certainly if he gets away from somebody, Jesus, if he's got players in front of him, then he really is, really dangerous. But my concern is I don't know whether he should be playing on the left. I'd like to see him play behind the main striker, across the line of the front, the midfield.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Daniel, is there anything you want to add to this segment of Ozil Watch?
Yeah, I don't think. I think it was only against Bayern that he really went out on the left and was out on the left, and I think that was because we were down to 10. I think most of the time he just goes wherever he likes, which is quite nice, because sometimes criticism I had of Fabregas before he started
going on strike.
Yeah, no,
going to Grand Prix.
Yeah, before he started to find his scoring touch, he used to just ambulate around the middle of the park and just wait for the ball to come to him. But Ozil doesn't really do that. He goes looking for the ball. It's like Jeff says. I think we've got a real worldie on our hands. If there was one thing that I would like to see more from him, is to just take a shot at goal, because the amount of times he gets into fantastic positions. And he could just take a shot, just take an early shot. Doesn't matter if you score, just work the keeper. But he doesn't. He'll pass it off to someone else who is in a worse position than he is. And I think it's that he's always had it throughout his entire career. You provide, you provide, you provide, you provide. And I think sometimes providers get into better positions than other people, because like Jeff says, he's getting ready to make the pass to where people should be, but if they're not going to be where they should be, then maybe you should think, well, sod it, I'm going to take a shot myself. So I'd like to see him take a few more shots, because penalties aside, he's pretty accurate.
Do you think part of that is down to the German ethos of working as a team? He's trying to work as a team, because you got to think of the poor bloke.
I think a lot of it's down to the Arsenal ethos as well. It's to me, to you. I don't really want to take a shoot. No, after you, sir. No, after you, sir.
Oh fuck! It's going to play.
I think he's. I think it's the Arsenal way, plus, like you say, it's the German way. But you put them both together, and he's never going to take a fucking shot, is he?
But how distraught must Ozil have felt running down the right hand, not the right wing, but kind of near the right wing, taking on 4 Liverpool players into their box, crossing it, putting Arteta in space for Arteta then to bang it left, and then that player to sky. I think it might have been Cazorla did it.
Well, how do you think he would have felt running up? I can't remember exactly against, but it was 90th minute. It was Man United, wasn't it? No, yeah, Southampton, 90th minute, and you've got Podolski just ambulating around the middle of the park, thinking, "Oh fuck it, I can't be bothered to go up the other end and try and take a shot." That's got to be pretty disheartening. And I think that's one of the things I like about him, is he will fight from the first to the last. And he had a shocking game in the league at Anfield, but he then turned around and had a much better one in the FA Cup. So I think when he has a bad game, he comes back and tries even harder to have a good game. It's like you saw it last night. He tried even harder after he scored that. After he missed that penalty, when he should have worked the keeper or done a bit better. So he works hard, which is strange for someone as talented as him. Usually you just expect them to just wait for everyone to do everything for them and just pull something out of the bag every now and again to look flashy. But he works hard and he's got talent to go with it. So I don't really think there's much to complain about, really, is there?
No, very well said. Steve, we'll go over to you. I understand you've got something about the Daily Mirror you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Darren Lewis. How is such an odious
Careful.
illiterate little fucking reprehensible prick employed on a national newspaper.
Have you heard him on Talk Sport and the likes? He's shit.
I wouldn't listen to Talk Sport. I'd rather have testicular cancer.
Oh, you can't say that.
People don't know. Before the pod, we were talking that someone said that to Cow, and that's the relevance of that. Steve doesn't really mean that.
No, I don't. But, I mean, to be fair, no newspaper's journalists are ever going to put out a completely pro story about any football club, unless it's Liverpool, because most of them are sitting there taking dictation from the comms department at Liverpool. Now, they have got a few decent reporters on the Mirror when they're not being twats, Ollie Holt and John Cross. But how does Darren Lewis get a job there? How can he produce that headline last night? Specialist in failure. When we've had a goalkeeper sent off for a red card, which even the opposing goalkeeper called unfair, or even Platini's come out and said, we've been trying to get that rule changed for ages because it's unfair. You're playing the best team in Europe, with 10 men, and it's only 2-0. If his beloved Tottenham or Liverpool had been playing Bayern Munich with 10 men, they'd be looking at a score with a 1 in front of that team. That's for fucking certain. This is the cock. This is the fucking cock, the utter twat, who's supposed to be a journalist, who writes articles about Tottenham have bigger fish to fry than Arsenal. The only things that need frying at White Hart Lane is Daniel Levy's head. And put Daniel Levy's head. I'm sorry, if newspapers want to be taken credibly in this country, they've got to get rid of people who fucking steal a living masquerading as journalists. Because Darren Lewis, you belong in the Ladybird Book of Football, son. You are the cunt of the fucking week. Absolutely.
From one news story to another, we spoke on the show about Giroud's affair and whether or not it was true. I think it was about an hour before the game he actually took to Twitter and he actually conceded that it was true and that he was very sorry and that he was trying to rebuild his family and he had a lot of apologising to do. I just wanted to gather your guys' thoughts about if that was the right thing to do so close to the start of a game and whether Twitter was actually the place to do it. Jeff?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. I think that stuff should be kept in the house. If he's got to apologise to anybody, he's got to apologise to his wife or his girlfriend and his child and the Arsenal fans and the manager and everyone at Arsenal, really. Because let's be perfectly honest with you, he's playing at Arsenal Football Club. He's a very, very lucky boy, and to be out at 3 o'clock in the morning, allegedly, rumping girls. Right, on the eve of an early game, it's an absolute disgrace, and I think he's felt the heat already of Arsene Wenger and the club by disciplining him, which I think he's going through at the moment. He's been dropped, really, to be perfectly honest with you. So, it was a disgrace, and I don't think that coming onto Twitter and trying to make things easy for himself, because that's all it is, really.
No, I saw a lot of people actually before the game going, "Why are you saying that? You're making yourself look a bit stupid." I probably don't agree with it myself, Danny.
Oh, it's just I can't really say much more than Jeff said. Apart from that, it's just why would you do it? If you've done something wrong, Twitter is not the place you go for people to go. Oh, bless you. Half of the women on there, 99% of the women on there want to shag him. 25% of the blokes on there probably would shag him. And then have you seen the responses of that trollop that he has been that he had the shenanigans with, has been going, oh, you lot don't know the full story. Well, if you knew this, you can't go making accusations and judgments. I mean, although I am a fan of is she slightly Oriental?
Oh, is she slightly ugly?
I thought she was a bit a fan of the Oriental lady. I think I might give her my number and ask her for a cup of tea and get some hair product.
Oh no, it wasn't down to race or being ugly. She was just naturally ugly.
No, I didn't think you were. No, I'm not jumping to conclusions. But I
not
just
even
think
with yours.
No, thank you very much.
You'll be no good with tennis elbow though, Dan. Let's be honest.
Wanker's elbow.
And golf, I can't go left or right. I can only go up and down. It's not my fault. Luckily, I only need the. No, I'm not going to go there. But it's just why? Who advised him? You know what, Drew? You're in a load of shit. best thing you can do is not put your head down, say sorry to the manager, and just be quiet and get on with life. Go on Twitter and fucking air it. Next year, be on fucking Jeremy Kyle. Like Jeff says, silly move.
Definitely.
Well, you never know. It could have been a tactic. I mean, as Jeff said, while he was playing Rampton Hampton round the borough, instead of being in bed. I mean, perhaps his late admittance on Twitter that he did shag this, to coin a phrase, a minging wretch, is that perhaps he knew by tweeting it he'd get a load more fucking offers for next week behind his wife's back.
Well, I did tweet at one point.
I mean, some of the responses from female Arsenal fans killed me. There was one that said, "Bloody hell! Has anybody seen this Munter that Giroud's got hold of? If he's got hold of her, we've all got a chance." To which I replied, "I think he's in enough shit already. Can you leave him alone, please?"
Unbelievable.
She is fucking hideous.
Well, shit, maybe I was looking at the wrong person then. She was. I thought she was quite fit.
Do you know your problem, Danny, is you're just a horny little intergalactic sex badger.
Little? No, I'm not little. I'm huge.
But let me tell you, Dan.
Yeah.
You would not have put a deposit in her very open, steaming, hideous deposit account.
I'll tell you what was funny, though. Did you see the boys taking the piss out of him per Mertesacker, the photograph and all that? Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And that's what I do like about it. You can tell the squad's really united because when they got a chance to take the piss out of each other like that, it means they're really, really close, you know.
That's remind me of the old days.
And you see Ozil and Podolski in the background fucking cracking up, mate. It's really funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, you'll have to.
How can you shag a bird called Celia, for fuck's sake? We're not in the 1950s.
Madness wrote a song about a bird called Cecilia.
I bet that weren't even
you
her
like
name,
that
mate.
one off of Four Rooms as well, don't you, Danny?
Probably
That's
just
Celia
a
Sawyer.
stripper name, wasn't it?
She was all right. She wasn't. She was a bit. Was that the one with the tight trousers?
Yeah, the tight leather trousers.
Was that the blonde one or the one from Series 1?
No, the blonde one that's
no,
like a badger.
No, it's the grumpy one from Series 1. I thought was a bit saucy.
Oh.
Again, I know how to pick them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll also continue with the Giroud theme and say that he actually tweeted a little bit more last night before the Bayern Munich game, which again didn't go down well. I mean, is it
surprisingly?
No, is it a case
I bet the bird did though.
Hey,
we're gonna get some shit for this. But is it a case that he's physically or mentally unfit, or a little bit of both? Jeff?
Oh, go on.
No, not at all. No, I don't think really. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to affect his game. Once he gets out on the pitch, that's when you don't think about what's going on off the pitch. You just concentrate on the game. But we shouldn't let him on the pitch at the minute. Fuck him. Leave him on the sidelines. He's got to do his bird, so to speak. Pardon the pun. Well, because I think it's bad. I'm not really into all that being unfaithful and all that. I'm a bit of an old school man, me, and he must have realised it was going to come out in the press, and he shouldn't have been there in the first place, especially when there was a game the next day. It's just so disrespectful, and no wonder he had a shit game. He was knackered, wasn't he, the boy? Up all night.
We all know that the only thing Jeff's been pumping recently is the fruit machines. But anyway, let's carry on.
The thing I think about that is the timing of the two tweets. It seems like he's just sort of trying to sort of dulcify the situation, or his wife or his manager. It's just a bit. The timing's stupid. I don't really give a shit, who he dips his wick with, what she looks like, or whether or not he's cheating on his wife. I mean, it's abhorrent that he is cheating on his missus, but that's his business, and as long as he's doing the business on the pitch, then it doesn't really matter. But sadly, he hasn't been doing the business on the pitch, which is why this is such a big deal. If he was top scorer in the league and he was banging in 2-3 goals every week, nobody would say a fucking thing. The only thing you'd be hearing is the argument between the people who are calling him a lad and the people who are going, "Oh, dirty bastard, cheating on his wife." They'd just be arguing, saying, "What are you calling him a lad for? That's despicable behaviour." That's what the argument would be. At the moment, the arguments now are, we've got big games coming up and the rest of it. It's because he's not performing, and that's if we're honest, that's the underlying issue. It's the fact that he isn't performing and he's doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing. If he was going out and eating 15 Big Macs, after a game that he scored 3 goals in, no one would say anything. But if he went out and ate 1 Big Mac after going on a 4-game
scoreless streak, people would go, "What's he eating Big Macs for?" It's the same principle, really, isn't it? It's he's not doing the business, which is why people are poking into what he's doing off the pitch.
Yeah. And to end this one, Steve.
Let's just give a bit of contrast here. I mean, if you cast your eye back, a certain Arsenal striker was caught banging a large one up some waitress out of TGI Fridays. Daniel, stop dragging a dead body around your apartment. Was caught banging a waitress from TGI Fridays, and the press turned up round his house, banged his front door, and he came out and confronted them. And I said, right, you've got a choice here. Either it's going to be my shame of affair with bosomy wench waitress from TGI Fridays in Coventry Street, or we're going to have to expose you. And he told them to go and fuck themselves and write what they like. When they asked why he'd done it, he said, "Have you seen my wife?" And when he went around, as he turned around to go through the door was locked and all his gear came out the window. I won't tell you who it was. But that player went out the next game and scored 2 goals. So that's a contrast, and I think one of the biggest problems today is that actually players can't even go down the shops to buy a newspaper without being followed, smudged up, photographed, Arsenal autographed. They can't get a second's piece. And that's even more so that the club should really educate, especially the foreign players who are just come to England, that they've got to be really careful what they get up to. But on the other end, as Jeff said, they should keep to the rules as well.
Yes. Right then, we'll end the topic of Liverpool by asking you one last question, which is, as I'm sure you're all aware, we got a draw against Everton at home. First of all, is it a good draw? And second of all, do you think we can go through to the next round? Danny, I'll start with you, please.
I think it's a very good draw because I would much rather lose in games coming up to the final than lose in the actual final. Now, I think there's only a handful of teams that can give us a game in the Premier League. Spurs are out, Chelsea are out, Man United are out. Then we've only got left Man City and Everton. And if we're playing Everton next, that means there's only one team that can beat us on our day left in the competition. And so I think that's a good thing. And also my mate Dean, the one who I took to the Champions League final, is an Everton fan, and I'm trying to persuade him to come on the podcast. Sometimes for the cup games we get opposition fans on, so he says he might come on, but he's so he's up for it. He was there when we beat them 7-0 at Highbury, and he didn't shed a tear and didn't cry. But I like Everton. I think it'll be an interesting game. I think Everton are on a bit of a not a downward slope, but I don't think the enthusiasm and the oomph they had at the beginning of the season where they were beating everybody. I think that 4-0 loss against Liverpool has shaken them a little bit. Plus with Lukaku, I think he's injured and been sent back to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So but they have got that new bloke who's 6'8", but he scored on his debut. So they've got a couple of tasty players, but I think we can beat them. But it will be a good game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, not forgetting, is it Brian Oviedo had a double leg break as well for them a couple of weeks back?
Oh, gee, that was horrendous. Poor bloke. Yeah, because not only did he get a double leg break, but he tried to get up on it.
Yeah.
I think, poor bloke. Yeah. Best wishes to him if you're listening.
Yes, of course. Jeffrey, over to you next, please.
I just think we had to avoid. Man City, didn't we? Really, and obviously get a home draw. I prefer obviously at our gaff than at Goodison. That's a bit of a tough gaff to go and get a result at there. So thank God it was at home. I don't see no problem as long as we apply ourselves correctly, and I think we'll dominate the game. Everton are a team under Martinez that like to play football. They play it out at the back. And they'll give you a lot of the ball. They'll let you create, and it'll be like a scoring match, I think. And I think we'll outscore them, and hopefully we should beat them, and on we go. And I do hope that the manager puts out a strong team. But is it 3 days before the Bayern return leg, that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how he's going to go with that, but he might put a similar team out that played Liverpool. But to be honest with you, when we get to this stage of the season, I'd rather he put a really strong team out, go for it, because if we beat them, we're in the semis. If we can avoid Man City, then we'll get to Wembley and we've got a chance of winning the trophy, which is a really good thing to do this season, to shut a few people up. So hope he puts a strong team out, but I think it's a good draw. Yes, I do agree.
Where does the priority for you lie now, Jeff, though? Does it go with trying to overturn a 2-0 deficit against Bayern Munich, or does it go with trying to win the FA Cup in terms of who plays?
I'd put a strong team out in both of them, mate, and just run with it game by game. See how you get on.
That's a fair shout. We'll try and discuss that a little bit more next week. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of a packed lineup this week, so we'll try and move on. Over to you next, Steve.
It's a good draw, avoiding cities. Jeff said we've got a chance, and if we get past them, we've got a chance to get in the final. Daniel, stop moving that dead body about again.
Is someone using the Ouija board to try and resurrect Bentner's career? Yeah. Someone's sliding something about. Now, who is it? Who's moonwalking?
It's not me. I'm just sat here smoking some of my cigarettes.
It's definitely not me, because I've been putting my mic on mute in between everybody else speaking.
Same here.
Well, it's you then, Steve. Behave yourself.
Sure.
It's Steve's the one that's dragging a dead body around, but he's blaming other people, just trying to throw the scent off.
He's stuffing dead minges under the rug again. Go on, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good draw, and I think we can get up there and we can give them a game. And I don't think it's a question of priorities. I think it's a question of, you're in 2 knockout competitions. What happens in those games will decide the priorities anyway. So you just put the strongest team out you can for each game and try and win them. And you've got to remember also as well that it's very likely Ramsey will be back fit soon, and that gives us more options. So and he needs games to get fit. So it'll be good for him if he can get a league game in, a couple of league games in, the FA Cup game, and then that Bayern game. That should get him right back to fitness just for the running, and that's exactly what we need. So yeah, good.
Yeah, not forgetting Chelstrom will be back around the same time as Ramsey as well, won't he, Steve?
Well, allegedly, I've not really heard much about progress of his fitness. As you know, Arsenal are not too forthcoming on these matters, but we could do with him getting back as well, because he's a guy who can take a free kick, and he's also a guy who likes to put his foot in as well. We can always use a bit more of that.
Vermaelen is back as well, so
yeah, not forgetting bags of experience to try.
Yeah.
Daniel, over to you then for your final thought. Everton, is it a good draw, and can we go on to the next round from there?
I think we should go on to the next round. Touching on what you said about Bayern, I think it's, if we hadn't scored that second goal, we would have said, let's go out there and try and do them. But to try and win by 3 goals, score 3 away goals is pretty much mission impossible. They're a much stronger outfit than they were last season, and I think we have a lot more riding on this season than we did last season. So I think we should just play a second string side that won't embarrass us out there and go all out in the FA Cup. I would like to say that Everton is a good draw. My heart and my mind tells me it is a good draw, but the pit of my stomach is a bit fucking pissed off, because I was hoping we were going to get a shitty little league team. No disrespect to the teams that are left in, because I know that.
Like Bradford?
Yeah. Well, no, it's more from a personal point of view, because despite the fact that I detest BT for ruining the FA Cup by playing them on a Friday night, a little part of me was hoping that we were going to draw a small team or a lower league team, and they were going to play us on the Friday night rather than the Saturday, because it was always going to be the Friday or the Saturday, because we got Bayern on the Tuesday. And I was hoping for Friday, because the time we're playing our game against Everton, I'm going to be in the midst of a baby shower with my wife and her family, so that's going to be fucking fun, isn't it?
Congratulations.
I could be at the Emirates watching Arsenal in the FA Cup, and I would have done if it was the night before, but it's not.
Stream it on your phone and put your earphones in, son.
I can't, it's on BT. You can't stream on your phone on BT.
Oh shit! No one needs to be subjected to baby showers. They should be fucking illegal.
BT have not only ruined the FA Cup, but they've ruined football in general by having Michael Owen as a pundit. Let's not forget that, gentlemen.
And another fucking scouse plant in the media.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've gone and rehired Andy fucking Gray.
I bet that cheered up the female employees at BT.
Yeah, there's a man partial to the florid phrase, Mr. It's not played on paper, it's played on that green thing out there. What a fucking tool.
Right then, we'll end that then, and we'll move on to our next match, which is the Champions League home tie against Bayern Munich. We'll chuck this one straight out to Jeff for his thoughts.
Well, you're playing against the best team in the world. It's always going to be difficult. They've got fantastic players all over the pitch. we started fantastically, didn't we? We blitzed them for 20 minutes. Really, they was really on the back foot. I wish he'd have stuck that penalty away, Ozil. I mean, he did really well to create half a chance for himself with a little Cruyff turn. Got a penalty. Shouldn't really have took it, if I'm being honest with you, because maybe he's obviously grown up with the goalkeeper, didn't he, Neuer? So I bet he's took a few penalties in the past against him. So I think that was a mistake, the familiarity. It would have been easier if someone else would have taken it. But apart from that, after the 20 minutes, we was under the cosh for a little bit, but we matched them at the same time. I mean, they are going to always have a lot of the ball, Bayern Munich, 'cause they're a fantastic team. And then the game changed when we had Szczesny sent off. I think it was a penalty, but I think it's so unfair that we get penalised twice, really, by one. Having a penalty and two having a goalkeeper sent off. You go out to 10 men. It's hard enough to play Bayern with 11 men. Them on about 10 men, and we have to sacrifice an outfield player, obviously, for a goalkeeper. It's so difficult, isn't it? I think we really did well. I think we did well to hold out. And in the end, I think tiredness, because your mind unfortunately gets tired as well as your body physically. And I think at the end of the day, we switched off for that few seconds at the end of the game when the Muller got in there and got that second goal, which is going to be proved to be vital. Because I think if we went there only conceding the one goal, we'd have had a right chance. But like Daniel touched on earlier on, to go there and get 3 goals. Which is not impossible. There's still a game to be played there, but I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's really difficult, and I think it's spoilt the game having a man sent off, which is a shame, really. With regard to a spectacle and a contest,
Yeah, we'll get straight to the nitty gritty there, and as you said, Jeff, about Szczesny standing off. Danny, there can be a lot to scrutinise with this one, because some people will blame Monreal for coming on, not picking up his runner, leaving Szczesny, with a split-second decision to make whether to stand firm or actually charge out. How did you see the actual incident? Do you think the ref got it absolutely bang on? Do you think Szczesny deserved his red card? Do you think it should have even been a penalty?
Oh, God, where do I start with that one? I think, yes, Monreal left the back four. The rest of his back four exposed. Szczesny really didn't have much choice. It could have gone either way. I think as soon as Szczesny went for the move, then he realised this isn't going to end well. If he was nowhere near getting the ball, but that's a goalkeeper's job to make a try for it. If he'd have just stood there and not tried to go for the player or go for the ball and they had to score, people would have gone, what the bloody hell was he doing? Why didn't he try and make the save for it? He can't do that. He was left in a situation and he panicked and he did what he did. Yes, I do think it was a penalty. I don't think it should have been a sending off, because usually it's one or the other, isn't it? You very rare, unless you're Arsenal in a Champions League game, then most of the time it's just one or the other. And I'm sure that was a decision that was made years ago. You don't get both. Unless he runs up to the player, punches him in the face, then it should be a sending off. But for that, it was last man, I know, but I think he was unlucky. And luckily, Fabianski is on a bit of form at the moment, and he'll do okay in the next leg. But I was just looking, Jeff said that it's not impossible to come back from being that many goals down. I was just looking at when was the last time Bayern let 3 in at home, and it was December when Man City went there and beat them 3-2. And prior to that, I'm looking back for the last year or so, can't find anything. So, here we go. Napoli went there in the Champions League in, what's 7? 7 is June. Oh, no, that's a friendly. Looking even further back, no. Well, Inter Milan went there in March 2011. That was the only other time they conceded 3 at home.
Going back to the penalty, if I may say, I reckon they should be. When it's that situation where you either go down to 10 men, or I think the opposing manager should be given a choice. I.e., Wenger should have been given a choice on the spot. Right, you either play with 10 men for the rest of the game, or you just concede the goal. So it's 1-0 to Bayern without a penalty. Wonder what you would do, because I think it's a choice that it's got to be. I don't know what he would do, But I think that personally, we'd have been better off having the 11 men on the pitch. Right, we might be 1-0 down, but we've got 11 men on the pitch. There's no reason why we can't maybe nick a goal and get a draw against them or go on and beat them, you know?
And Steve, you've got something to put on in this one, and I will link it into you because Szczesny made a very similar mistake playing for Poland in the Euros a couple of years back, didn't he? I can't remember the team it was against.
It was against Russia.
Oh,
Yes.
he got sent off, didn't he? And missed the rest of the tournament.
Yes,
He
he
got
did.
sent off and missed the rest of the tournament. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a bit different. I'll tell you why. First of all, the Polish defence is utterly gash, and they make mistakes at will, which means their keepers sometimes, whether it's Szczesny or whether it's Boruc or whether it's Titon, they do have to come and rush quickly for the ball, and that means that does mean they make mistakes. The thing at our club now has been for quite a while now. We've got this solid back four, which was interrupted by Gibbs' injury, is that keepers can be more relaxed. They can trust the two in front of them and they can trust the two either side to not make mistakes and keep the ball out. And those defenders are confident because they know they've got a good keeper behind them. Now, that was a penalty, yes. But he wouldn't have been sent off if that fucking old age pensioner, cheating little cunt, Robin, hadn't a fucking play acted. And that's the point for me. And I don't agree with this idea about sin bins. The rule is wrong. If you give a penalty and you book a keeper, that's enough punishment. They've got enough advantage has been given to the opposing side. And actually, you know, one of the things that is quite interesting about that is Neuer, after the game, said that he felt that Arsenal were, you know, completely over punished. And Robin himself made a comment in the Dutch press that he didn't think he should have been sent off because, as he said, that he didn't have control of the ball and the ball went out of play. So it wasn't a scoring opportunity. But, you know, for me, we were magnificent for 25, 30 minutes. We really had them rocking. And if Oswald scored the penalty, shame he didn't, but these things happen. You know, I think the outcome of that game could have been very, very different. You never know what might happen. But at the end of the day, you're playing the best team in Europe. Look at the players that were switching in and out of midfield. You know, the quality on their bench, you know, the depth on their bench, world-class players sat on the bench, can't get a game. People like, you know, Rafinha coming on, Martinez going off, and so on and so forth, and Muller coming on. You know, when you're up against that level of quality and you're down to 10 men, to keep it to 1-0 for the amount of time we did and frustrate them was a fantastic performance. You know, most other Premiership sides would have been absolutely massacred. There's no doubt about that. And the team can take a lot out of that. I mean, I think that's a positive because it shows how much we've grown in previous seasons where when you missed a pen and the goalie got sent off, the heads would have gone down and we would have got dicked by about 8. Last night, no, fuck it. You're not going to thrash us on our ground. It was unfortunate that Kos got caught out, you know, for the second goal. But, you know, there is every chance we could go over there and get the game back to 2-2. And then when it goes to extra time, who knows what can happen. And I think Fabianski needs to take some credit as well because he had a brilliant game against Everton and he made some good saves last night and he came straight on, you know, and had to face a penalty. Okay, the guy missed it. There was a part of me that even suspected that bloke did miss it on purpose because there was some weird thing after he missed the penalty afterwards where he high-fived his teammates. And, sorry, yeah, when I was talking about Fabianski playing a good games, I meant against Liverpool, not Everton. Thinking about the next round already, we'll be playing there anyway. But, you know, there was something strange about that penalty, that the guy that took it, and secondly, the fact that he deliberately seemed to screw it to the left and then celebrated missing a penalty with his teammates. But, you know, whatever. I still think there's something left in that game yet. And I think the team just have to keep going and they just have to keep collecting 3 points and roll on to the next game. It's no point letting it hang over you now because it's gone. It's done and dusted.
Over to you next, Daniel. Do you agree with Steve that there's still something in this tie and what positives should we take from last night?
Yeah, I mean, potentially there is something still in the tie. You know, it's not dead. We certainly have we more than have the ability. I think the first 30 minutes of that game showed that,
we can stand up to Bayern. I think if it stayed 11v11, even with the penalty missed by Özil, if it stayed 11v11, I think it would have been a completely different game. We may still have lost, but we might have come out with something better. I think if we're going to go out there, we either have to go out for a win or we have to go out there prioritizing other competitions. I think if we go out there and try our best to get, say, 2-0 to go to extra time and anything happens, I don't really want extra time. I really don't. I think our squad is it's just too compact, as Wenger would say, for us to cope with too many extra games, too many extra minutes. We need to sort of just take our chances where we can. But I think the positive that I took out of it, apart from the fact that we looked fantastic for the first 30 minutes, is that until a bit of a last minute sort of lack of concentration, we were 1-0 down to the best club side in the world, having only had 10 men for 50 minutes. Whereas if you look the night before, you had a team who were playing against maybe the second best club side in the world, but Man City had spent £1 billion to get to where they are, and they played 40 minutes with 10 men, and they still lost. Yet in the papers, it's they were unlucky, and as that pernicious little turd in the Mirror, Darren Lewis, said that we're specialists in failure. I think the situations aren't so different. We didn't spend £1 billion. We were playing the best club side in the world, and we lost by the same scoreline. So I think there's I think the positive to take out of that is just how little we are still rated by the media, because I think as long as they're slagging us off, it actually works in our favour. So I'm actually kind of glad that the mephitic little prick didn't take to the papers and say, Arsenal, we're amazing and well done Arsenal for hanging in, because 2-0 with 11v11 versus Bayern isn't even anything to sort of shake your head at. So 2-0 with 10 men after a bit of an unfair sending off and a missed penalty, yeah, I'll take that. It's not bad.
And it's the same Bayern Munich team that, don't forget, that beat Barcelona 7-0 on aggregate last year. So I don't think we did a bad job last night, really.
No, definitely not. Definitely. No. I think going to the penalty decision it is double punishment. It is harsh, and I had a little bit of a rant on my podcast earlier, which unfortunately got cut because didn't have enough time to finish editing it. But what I said about complaining about referees is, I think the referees have got a hard enough job without without troglodytic little cunts like Robin diving. But I mean, they've got a hard enough job without technology, and the fact that UEFA and FIFA are pushing back on technology. But do you know what? I think that they could do a lot more to help themselves and maybe be a little bit more
less cunty.
Yeah, no, just a little bit more consistent, because by the letter of the law, yes, Szczesny's was a sending off. I think it was very harsh for various different reasons, but
why wasn't the Bayern guy sent off?
Yeah, I think that it was fair that Jerome Boateng got a yellow card for his tackle, but then he went on to plough through the back of Jack Wilshere, which is a straight yellow card. It's a yellow card offence. It should have been his second yellow, and he should have been off. So him
and Dancy just had a diplomatic immunity to get him booked. They were both booked, and then they went on to commit about 5 fouls each. Ref never even bollocked them for it.
Yeah. No, so I just think there just needs to be a little bit more consistency from the referees, and the fact that Arsenal can get results in spite of inconsistent refereeing, poor decisions, and I mean 2-0, I still consider that a result when you think of everything that went against us, because that could have been a massacre and it wasn't.
Do you know, it's a triple whammy really, because don't forget he's got to miss the next game as well. He misses the return, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think the thing is that's the most disappointing is it kills a game. Flat right, as soon as you send the goalkeeper off and give away a penalty, that is it. You've killed the game.
before.
Yeah, it was over. It was over as a spectacle. It was a completely dead game. And do you know what? People slag fans off for leaving early and the rest of it. But do you know, if I saw 50,000 people leave last night after Szczesny was sent off, I wouldn't have blamed them, because what's the point? You spend all that money and you go there to watch a game. The game was dead. The game was absolutely. They might as well have paid 60 odd, 80 odd, 100 odd quid to watch a training match, because it was just attack feed defence last night. And once Szczesny got sent off, spectacle over. What's the point in watching?
Yeah,
Couple of things, Kim, if I can, before we move on from this one. The fouls last night: Arsenal 6, Bayern 15. That just backs up what everyone was saying. And maybe one tiny glimmer of hope. The game that the Bayern away to Wolfsburg, who are currently 5th in the Bundesliga, 3 days before they play us, and then 3 days after they play us, Bayern are home to Bayer Leverkusen, who are in second place. So I know Bayern are 16 points clear, but they have got a tough away game and a tough home game, with us wedged in between the two of them. So hopefully they won't be taking it too much for granted. And you never know, it maybe can get a couple of goals and then it's game on.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we'll move on to our main topic tonight, which focuses around social media and the power we all have to directly tweet a player and express our displeasure in a performance. Many of you will probably have seen Podolski leap to the defence of Mesut Ozil today on Twitter. So I want to know your thoughts on this and how it can affect a player's performance or confidence. And Steve, if you could start us off on this one, please.
Yeah, I mean, social media has opened everybody in the world up to scrutiny. It's opened everybody up in the world to be talked to and talked at. Unfortunately, it allows people, when they're in a high state of emotion, they're watching games or they're just following a game, to actually just pour out what they're thinking in their brain without thinking about it. That's one class of people. Then you've got other people who just pour out vitriol and hate. They seem to enjoy heaping misery on others, people who are known on the internet as trolls. And then we've got people who just can't. I really don't know what football game they watched, because it's not the same one me or Jeff watched. It's not the same one Danny or Gimli watched, because we all talk about in our WhatsApp group about what goes on in the game, and then you're reading on Twitter what's going on, what people are saying, and it's very clear that they've never played the game. They've never played it at any sort of level at all. That they're watching the ball. They're not watching what players are doing, and they can't figure out that it's a team game. It's not an individual game. I just don't understand, if you're a fan of Arsenal, why you would want to tweet abuse to one of our players. If you want to tweet abuse to a certain cut stunt who left, fair enough. I can understand people being upset about that. But the fact is, at the end of the day, I don't think people think. If I was sat at my desk at work and all my colleagues were calling me a cunt and saying my work was shit, and did it all day from all over the country, thousands of them, on Facebook and on Twitter, cunted me off, fucking rotten, when you know damn well in the goodness of your heart that it's untrue and it's undeserved, that's going to get you down. It's going to weigh on you heavily. And you've also got to remember, footballers are people. They're not all the same. They're not automatons. They've got personalities. Some footballers are brash. Some footballers are big and tough. We know a lot of footballers suffer from depression as well, from what Stan Collymore and others have told us. And other people can't take that level of public criticism. But it's not criticism. A lot of it's absolute hatred and quite vile. And it affects players' abilities off the pitch. It makes them withdraw into themselves. We even saw a bit last night where Ozil was walking away from the goal and Flamini had a go at him, and I think Ozil shrugged him off and walked off. Now, I think people miss a big point about last night's game. If you sat and looked at our bench, there was Podolski sat on the bench with a face like thunder. Why? Because he's a German player and he wants to play against Bayern Munich and he wants to stick it right up them. And he wanted to be on that pitch last night badly. Just as much as Ozil wanted to do really well on that pitch last night, you could see it. He was really, really having a go at him in the first 25 or 30 minutes. And after he missed that penalty, it really affected him. His body language went. And then he had to switch sides when Kaz was taken off. He was playing that position. He had to stay back. That ain't his game. there is a lot of thought that maybe he should have come off. But my point is, at the end of the day, if you support a club, you support a club through good times and the bad times. I know that on Twitter, there's a lot of people who stood in the Arsenal end at Old Trafford when we were getting beaten 8-2, and they sang our team's name, and they stayed there to the end, right until the end. And they were getting beaten 8-2, and they never dropped their heads, and they never shut up. And the players went up the other end, Walcott and that, and they applauded them. Not like people last night who fucked off 10 minutes early. Sit in your fucking seat and support the team, and don't abuse the players. Perry Groves wrote about this in his book, and he said that there was a time he went through a bad patch, and Jeff will back me up on this because he's talked to me about it before, and the crowd at Highbury got on his back, and every time he was playing down the wing, people were shouting at things at him, calling him a cunt, booing him, and he just said it made you try harder, so you made more mistakes, so you actually got worse. And he said it preys on you so much that you completely can't concentrate on what you're doing and you lose form. Now, we want our players to play at their top level. We want them to do their best. We want them to win. It means you might be sat there 5 stone overweight in your lazy boy armchair watching your huge plasma TV, stuffing down KFC and think that Ozil's had a bad game.
Danny.
Hey, I have an LED TV, not a plasma. It's not the fucking 80s.
Yeah, and also he doesn't like KFC. I do know that.
No, I don't. It's dirt.
But you know the point is that the point is before you open your gob, think of the effect. Before you open your gob, actually think about whether what you said is going to get you ripped to shreds on Twitter. Because I've seen some ignorant shit on the internet from Arsenal fans. But today, you know, I have to say a lot of Arsenal fans have behaved like utter fucking spoiled kids who've had their fucking dummies taken away by mummy because they lost the fucking game. Grow up, get a fucking pair of bollocks, support your team. And if you can't write anything on the internet that's not nice, no one's saying you can't have an opinion. You can have an opinion. Don't fucking write abuse to the players, because if you're abusing the players, you ain't an Arsenal fan.
I think one of the first experiences I've seen of this on Twitter is last year with Aaron Ramsey. And Jeff, you'll back me up on this because you were one of the only people on Twitter that actually turned around and said how good he has the ability to be and how we should all stick by him and how tweeting him will do the fans, the players and, you know, well, the fan base in general no good at all. I mean, do you not think, why haven't we learned from Rambo's experience?
Well, it's just these keyboard kings that they would never speak to you like that to your face. You know, this is what's so disappointing about it. I mean, Arsenal, the way Arsenal play, their game is based on confidence, and if they haven't got confidence, then our game is really, really flat. We've spoke about it before, and you know, Arsenal fans have had this over the last. I don't know. It's happened before in years gone by. Like Steve said, he was quite right about Perry Groves. They've dug players out before, but over the last few years with the social media, it's just blown out of all proportion because it's making everybody aware of whatever it is. You know, we've ruined a lot of players. We've ruined, you know, Abui, Denilson, Gervinho, Bentner,
Shamak.
Ramsey, Shamak, you know, and they all play on confidence. And once it's like we all want to be liked, of course, you know, every human being wants to be liked. But once you keep on getting it rammed down your throat every week, how shit you are on social media, because some of them won't take any notice of it, but some of them will have a little peek at it, I'm sure. Right, and they look at their timelines or on Facebook or whatever, and they're getting all these terrible messages, and it can't be good, and it does fuck your confidence up in the end, and that will definitely affect your play. So in effect, really, you're only doing damage to your own. You want Arsenal to do well, but you're making it worse. You're making it also worse. Now I experienced this. 2 January windows ago when I had said that Arsenal would bid for a £30 million player. And now I've been round the block, trust me. You know, I come out of an East End council flat, so I've been round the block a few times. The amount and the level of abuse that I got from people that have never even met me, don't know me, just don't even know me on Twitter. Okay, it was incredible, unbelievable abuse, and it really, really opened my eyes to minutia from what them guys would have been getting. You know, I mean, I used to read Ramsey's timeline. Well, you know, read some of the comments that I've made about Aaron Ramsey and stuff, and it was absolutely disgusting. And you're only making it worse for the club. You should support the club, and you got to encourage these boys. They're not going out there if they're having a bad game. They're not going out there. They don't mean to have a bad game. If they're having a bad time, you've got to help them get through it rather than keep on abusing them, because we have a habit of draining the confidence out of our own players, which is ridiculous.
And I think we should remember as well, it's not just our own fans arguing or sending nasty tweets to players. It's also our fans arguing amongst themselves. And Danny,
sending shit to players' girlfriends and wives, even worse as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's totally shameful on so many different levels. Danny, you've experienced this in the last 24 hours, have you not? Would you like to explain a little bit?
No, this is just fucking hilarious. I mean, if anyone knows me, they can come and shout through my letterbox, "You're a cunt" for 24 hours a day, and I will just go out there and I'll probably join in. This bloke said to me today, "Suck your mum, you prick. He was a second striker who played behind the main striker, you dickhead." And I just replied back, "I've sent you the link, have a look through it." And then he sent me another one. "Go fuck yourself, you're a fucking cunt, you fucking..." After about 10 aggressive, nasty tweets like that, he stopped abusing me, read what I'd sent him, and went, "Well, maybe he can do." But the one you want about last night, I was having a little chat with Jeff about throwing Sanogo in 2 such important games and leaving our second highest played player on the bench. So I said, I mean, I've had to put this in some kind of chronological order. I said, Podolski has and can play as a lone striker or in a 2-man strike force. This bloke then put, and I quote, "You're talking complete shit. Podolski has never been a lone striker in his career." Now, I've cut and pasted that from Twitter. I then replied, sent him all of his stuff, and I said, look, from 2010 to 2012 for Cologne, that's what he did. The only real position he played was either the support in the Bergkamp hole or as a striker. And then he put back, "He has never done so on his own consistently, and when he did, he was terrible." So first of all, he said he couldn't do it, and now he's saying he can do it, and he was terrible. Then I sent him a link to the site that lists every single game Podolski has played for Cologne, what position he played in, and then he sent this back to me. "He played in the 2 up front, mate, all the time. He's not good enough. He's a lone striker, been very bad for us there." And then he just continued to call me a cunt and tell me I was full of fucking shit. So he starts off saying he's never done it. Then he agrees that he's done it sometimes. And then he said, yeah, he has played 2 up front all the time, but he's not good enough. Now, people just go back and have a look in my timeline. You'll see what this bloke is doing. Too many people that know fuck all about football telling me that Podolski can't play up front. Now, I'm not saying he should play up front for us as instead of Giroud all the time, but when such an important, 2 really important games that I want to see Sanogo do as well as the next bloke. I don't want to see Wenger leave as manager, but when you've got someone of Podolski's calibre who has been injured, come back, the usual routine is you get a few games as substitute, then you start playing a few games, and when your main striker Giroud is out, then it's time for Podolski to step in because he's done all the hard graft to get there. But my point I was making was that with an experienced striker like him, but how the hell can Sanogo come and play 61 minutes in a reserve game and not score, and then play in 2 of the most important home games of the season? The rest of it is up for debate, whether you think that's right or wrong. But for this bloke to go mental at me and call me every cunt under the sun, that Podolski has never played as a striker in his entire fucking career up front, as a 1 or a 2, and then keep changing his fucking mind, just the level that we're dealing with. And I just think if that's how some Arsenal fans treat other Arsenal fans, then they just... I don't even know where they get off saying this stuff. And even if you send links to them, they're still going, "Oh, no, you're still full of fucking shit." It's just like they think they have the ability to say whatever they want, whenever they want, without anything to back it up. And it just happens all the fucking time. And it's funny. People can do it all day long. And then the more you agree with them, the more they get fucked off.
but you must see it as well, Danny, having charge of the podcast account as well.
Yeah.
And the podcast just recently has come under a little bit of criticism, and I mean as in the slightest, tiniest, minute, as in 1 in 100 people who have said they don't listen because we're either too pro Arsene Wenger or we're too anti Arsene Wenger. Now, my argument with that is we are a podcast, and podcasts are about opinions, the very same way that Twitter is about opinions. If you can't stand someone's opinion, then you can
Fuck
either
off.
you can either put forward your opinion, right, and try and hash it out with someone, or as my good friend Daniel Cowan has just said, you can fuck off. Daniel.
But whenever people say it to us, we never say it straight away. We go, well, if you don't like it, what don't you like about it? What don't you like this, or you don't like that? And then we just try and talk it to them. Oh, it's fucking shit, I'm not listening again. We've had a few people say that and go, well, why do you think it's shit? And we never get a straight answer out of them. They just start going straight on to the abuse. But it's fucking guaranteed if anyone met me face to face, they wouldn't fucking tell me that what I say. Well, they probably would if they knew me. But they wouldn't get all cunty and arsey to my face, probably like they wouldn't to Jeff's face or anyone else's face. They tend to be little 14, 15-year-old little shits, keyboard warriors, like Jeff was saying. With fucking go and do a better job yourself if you can. In fact, come on the podcast and explain yourself.
What you'll get from that, Danny, is what I get whenever I write a blog people don't like, or we get slagged off on a podcast all the time, which is why we do the disclaimers at the beginning, which is basically saying we do what we do, and if you don't like it, fuck off, because we don't need you to listen to us for us to do what we do. We don't get paid for it, so if we got 10,000 people listening or fucking 10 people listening, it makes no real difference. Because we're just having fun. But whenever I say to people, well, if you can do better, please show me, your wonderful contribution to the world in with your own right and your own podcast. I don't do it. #blogwanker or #podcast cunt. I get it all. What are you going to do? They're just iniquitous, puerile, cretinous thunder cunts, and there's nothing you can do to change it.
And we've said to people, come on Skype. We will Skype with if we and Gimli are free, which is most of the time, if he's not up on some kind of animal molestation charge up for the beak, we'll talk to anybody on Skype. We have done plenty of times. And then if you want to come on and call us a cunt, then we can't get across exactly what we want to say in 140 characters, or is it 160 or less, or via a podcast, because we've got to let everybody have a say. But we've got on our one, there's 7 of us that run it. You got Jeff and FK that are pro-Arsenal. You got GC that is anti-everything, even hates himself. And then you've got John, Steve, Gimli, and me, who can say if Wenger does something good, we'll say something's good. What do you think about that, Steve?
I mean, to go back to what Daniel's saying, I mean, I don't think it's just Arsenal that suffers from this. I obviously, in my work, doing a lot of work with client social media. We read an awful lot of papers about psychology, about how people behave on the internet, and in particular trolls. Now, very interesting couple of cases. Recently, one was a Guardian reporter who was being trolled and his pregnant wife was being threatened and the guy was getting vile abuse. Now, the bloke got the Guardian's private investigator, and it turned out the person who was doing this was the 14-year-old son of his best mate, who thought he was having, quote, a laugh. Well, he didn't think he thought he was having a laugh when he got 2 years youth custody and his parents got a $5,000 fine on his behalf. And you see, this is the problem of the idiocy of people, that they think that they can do and say what they like in social media and there's no repercussions. Well, I'm sorry, but there are. And the number of people that have been pinched off Twitter for being racist abuse, anti-Semitic abuse, hate crimes and threatening, it just proves exactly the fact that there are repercussions. And I think that there is a certain psychology there of kids that they think they're being funny, they think they're bigging themselves up. But I wonder how many of these kids would like it if somebody took the silent Bob and Jay approach, where they turn up around these kids' houses and ring the doorbell and say, are you at Arsenal fan number 27,305 and did you call me a cunt on Twitter? Yes, I did. And they proceed to punch the living fucking daylights out of them. And, I think at the end of the day, part and parcel of social media is you've got to have a thick skin and you just got to learn to ignore it. And you ignore it to the point where until someone's obsessive, and then you've got to report them to the authorities and just deal with it. Regards to the players and their families, all of us go to work every morning. I'm sure Jeff has bad days at the office. I very much doubt any of his colleagues write to his missus and say, Jeff's been really shit at work today. What are you going to fucking do about it? I mean, as if Jeff's missus could do anything about him being crap at work anyway. But this is exactly what they're doing. They're writing to Giroud's missus, they're writing to Ozil's bird and having a go. It all comes down to the fact, I'm afraid to tell you, that the quality of social media reflects the society that it's actually being used in. And I'm afraid to tell you the majority of British people are cretins. They can't write their own language properly. They can't speak it properly. They don't read books. They don't read newspapers. They have no knowledge. They have no history. And everything that the internet has brought, which is good, I'm afraid it's brought one bad thing. and that is that everybody expects to have everything immediately, and they expect self-gratification, and if they don't get it, they go wild.
And the other thing is, you watch someone's bollocks grow when you give them a keyboard and a screen to hide behind.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You watch someone's bollocks shrink when they walk in the fucking George off the Holloway Road and meet someone they've been being cunty to. They usually shit themselves and run out rather quickly.
I mean, one of the most vile pieces of abuse I've seen, and I've had it happen to me, unfortunately. I had a dog that passed away about 8 months ago, and someone said to me, "Oh, it was a good job your dog passed away because you do a shit podcast." Totally uncalled for. And I know Jeff has had the very same thing about one of his animals that unfortunately passed away. I mean, what kind of level do we find ourselves getting to here when, because we have a disagreement about the football club that we all support and we all want to do well, that we're finding personal insults or ways to, just chip away at someone? I mean, Jeff, how does that make you feel?
Well, I've got a skin like a rhino, mate. It doesn't bother me one iota, and that's thank God I'm like that. But other people that are not as thick-skinned as me, I bet it would hurt them. It really, really would hurt them,
Yeah, it hurts my wife.
Yeah, no,
when she sees some of the stuff I get on there. And,
exactly, yeah. I've had some stuff said about my daughter. Yeah, my daughter. People have said what they're going to do about me to my daughter, and I mean, she ignores it. She's a little bit like me, thankfully.
They say it's her face. She'll punch him in the face.
Yeah, no, but it's. I don't know why. If you haven't got nothing nice to say about someone, then don't say anything at all, because I don't see the benefit of it. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And like you say, I promise you, they would never ever. You've got to be a brave man, honestly, mate, because I'm a big old boy, right? You've got to be a brave man to come up to me and say that to my face, mate. I promise you. You just wouldn't do it. You once had a chance, just in case I could, honestly. And it's really unfair on people. And if like I say, I've got thick skin, doesn't bother me. I'm used to it, right? But some people are not like that, and I bet it makes them ill. The worry of it, Well,
I think it's particularly important with kids because. There's a lot of papers on online bullying on kids, of kids cutting themselves, killing themselves, even being encouraged to commit suicide by other kids. And my daughter was on Twitter, and had Liverpool fans having a go and saying the most vile things to a 12-year-old kid. Within 15 minutes of doing it, they had the old bill outside their house. And that's how you deal with it. But I'm lucky because I can go through to Twitter as a major advertising account and have that done straight away. But, this is the point. Let's end this section by saying, before you fucking push the fucking tweet button, turn your fucking brain on and think, is what I'm going to say here going to hurt someone? Is what I'm going to say here improve Arsenal's position? Is what I'm going to say here really, really nasty, and should I say it? And if the answer to the last question is yes, then don't do it, and don't send stuff to our players that's nasty, because if you do, go and support fucking Spurs.
The problem is there, Steve, is that the thing is that Twitter is just open to anyone to use. The internet is open to anyone to use. You don't need to have a brain to use it. And I think the abuse to players, partners and wives, I actually think is a lot worse than to the players themselves, because the players to some degree will have media training, and it's something that the wives and girlfriends don't get. And I'm just thankful I don't let my wife on Twitter, and I don't let her look at my tweets or anything, because a few months back I had a few people absolutely rinsing my mentions when I tweeted a picture of a scanned picture of my baby who's due in a few weeks' time, and people who disagree with my opinion on Arsenal decided that they would start saying things about my unborn child. So if my wife had seen that, it would have destroyed her. And people can get away with that, and there's not really anything that can be done.
I think we all have to be so careful. Before we started this our podcast, me and Gimli, I went and took, because I had loads of pictures of me and my daughter, and there's pictures of my mum and people and stuff like that on Twitter. I went and deleted every single picture on there apart from ones of me, because you never know what kind of weirdos are out there, and it's guaranteed there's going to be someone out there who's going to think it's funny to say something. Luckily, my daughter's not on Twitter. She doesn't like the idea of social media, but it just makes you wonder if we are virtual minnows in the Twitter Arsenal sphere, then how much shit must the players be getting? I know our very own angry Venezuelan in the WhatsApp group did a little screen grab of how many people he's blocked. He's approaching 1,000 people he's blocked. Just think how many people the likes of Wilshere when he went through that shit, and Ramsey and Chesney, that they must mess with their minds something chronic, which is why Chesney keeps leaving Twitter and then coming back again.
Well, because he keeps getting caught chatting up birds on board channels.
I think John has the right approach. If he sees something that is out of order or something that he disagrees with to the point that he finds it physically repulsive, then the block button is there for a reason.
And John is one person you would not fuck with in real life.
No, I've started taking the 7 a.m. kickoff approach. We were having a chat on direct message recently, and he was saying that a great way to deal with sort of the trolls and the people who give him abuse. And when he told me what he does, I can't tell you the last time I had this much fun, because I get quite a lot of abuse these days, probably nowhere near the amount that Jeff gets, but I just tweet back pictures of kittens and puppies. It's funny because they go fucking spare. Debate with me like an adult, and it's like, well, you're the one who first tweeted me about I think your opinion's fucking shit, you stupid wanker, and all of a sudden now you want to debate like an adult. No, here you go, here's another picture of a kitten. Oh look, here's a puppy with some toilet roll. Oh look, here's a kitten in a box, and they go fucking spare. So yeah, that's what I recommend everybody do that. Just all these dickhead internet trolls. My default, I used to just send them back a picture of troll spray, but that just used to wind them up. So now I just do kittens because it really incenses them, and I think that's the best way to deal with them, and then block them.
Are we going to go on to some Twitter questions and Facebook questions, Mr. Gimley, because we're talking shit now?
Oh, go on, read your question out, Dan.
Okay, right. This is from our good friend AFC_Fisher. Who else should have a statue outside of the Emirates now that Bergkamp has been added to the list? I'll go to Daniel on this one.
I know it's really hard. I'd probably go for my favourite player of all time, and that's Romford Pele. Fucking love that guy.
Oh, Raymond. How about you, Steve? Who would you have?
Of course, a bloody hard question. That. I'd have Charlie George, but I'd wait till he pegs it first. I don't believe anybody should be commemorated by a statue when they're still alive.
Oh, well. Oh, dear. Yeah, I suppose that's a good point. Jeff, who would you have?
Mickey Thomas, mate.
Oh, what? Upside down?
Upside down, yeah. Mickey Thomas. Massive moment in the history of our football club. And I think, he never really gets a mention, really, now, does he? To be perfectly honest with you. Very rarely, anyway, But apparently they're having him on the pitch in a couple of weeks' time, or soon, anyway.
Along the lines of
half time.
Along the lines of what Steve was saying about maybe only doing it was sort of posthumously, maybe it should be Rocky Rocastle.
Oh, definitely. That was going to be
and
my
George
one.
Armstrong.
George Armstrong, of course, yeah, definitely George.
Geordie's daughter is on Twitter and follows us, and hello if you're listening. Gim, who would you have?
I'd probably go Charlie George.
Glad to see you've unmuted your mic.
Yeah, sorry.
Fucking idiot.
I just you're such pros now. I'll let you do your own links into them.
Who did you say you'd have?
I'd have Charlie George. A local boy, loves the club. Why not? Still works for the club. Why not give him a statue? Deserves it thoroughly.
My one would be Rocastle, which would have been my first choice would have been Adams. He's got one. My second choice would have been Bergkamp, and then my third choice would have been Rocastle, because he, for me, sums up everything that was Arsenal when I really started getting into Arsenal. The Rocastle, Thomas, Davis, Merson, all that lot. They were great times. Steve, you got a question from Facebook?
Yeah, I've got quite a few this evening, actually. A lot of them are things we've already covered, but here's one from Elias Tangvik, and it says, there seems to be mention of a risk of us losing both Sagna and Vermaelen in the summer. Should we buy, or will Wenger turn to our academy for reinforcements?
Well, and then you've got to aim it at someone.
Go on, Jeff. Give us your opinion.
I've got a terrible feeling that Sagna's going to be leaving us in the summer for someone like PSG or one of them that's going to give him a massive salary for the last few years of his playing career. No, I think he'll definitely. I think we'll definitely buy a right back if we do lose him from somewhere, and he'll buy replacements. I wouldn't worry too much about losing Vermaelen. because he'll find a suitable replacement to replace him anyway. But I don't know whether he'll. I'm not sure whether he'll leave. We'll have to just wait and see, won't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Got a question, Danny?
Does anyone else want to answer the one that Steve just did?
No, I think Jeff said it all.
Yeah, I think Jeff covered that.
Oh, lovely. Right, yes. Where are all my questions here? I've got a quick one. This is from Santaguna, who is at MPASC9. Would you give Sanogo a run of games to see what he is made of, Gimli?
Yeah, I would. I think what we've seen of him so far has been absolutely fantastic. I think he shows a physical presence. He gives us something else. As I said earlier in the podcast, I think he's a bit of an untapped resource. I certainly think Giroud will probably benefit from maybe some time on the bench, if not a little bit of time outside the team. I think he's definitely worth the punt. Definitely.
Steve?
Who?
Would you, Sanogo, do you think you should get a run?
Yeah, no, I do think he should give a run because that's actually what I said earlier on. People are complaining that Ozil's not performing. Well, last night I likened him to a darts player standing on the hockey, feel the power Taylor, and there's no fucking dartboard for him to aim his darts at. And that's the problem, that our game needs movement and runners. And when we get Ramsey back, who's got a good understanding with Ozil, all of a sudden Ozil will appear to all the football retards to be brilliant again, whilst he's been brilliant all the time. So we need Sanogo up the front. He don't mind putting his foot in. He throws himself about. He is a good fulcrum. He's got some pace, and he brings people like the Ox and that into the game. So I think he should be given a run. I don't see any point giving Bentner a run because when he's come on, he hasn't been very impressive. And Giroud, A, needs a rest, and B, needs to get his discipline.
Talking about Phil Taylor, I'm watching the darts at the moment. He's just lost 7-4 to Snakebite. Yeah, he was atrocious. Jeff, do you think he should be given a run? I know your answer is going to be, so go on, surprise us.
Well, no, I think, to be honest with you, I think the three of them, the three strikers that we have at the moment, I think they're all very, very similar. I don't think we have got a lot of pace going in behind the defence, which is what we really need. Someone that's going to generate, their own goals. The three that we've got are very much players that like the ball played up to them. They're not really going to be running in behind. But Sanogo, he's looked. No one's seen a lot of him, but he's looked. He's a handful. He's definitely a handful, and he'll cause a lot of trouble for defences. But have we got the time to let him play a selection of games? We've got some big games coming up, haven't we? So, again, he's a boy that's going to be learning on the job, and I don't think we're in that position at the moment. We need goals, and we need someone that's going to do it straight away without having to worry about how well he plays or how well he don't play. We don't need a player that we need to have to fit into, so to speak. We need the player to come straight in and work straight into the squad. But he is a handful, and he's going to cause trouble for a lot of defence if he does play.
Steve, Facebook question.
Right, here's one, and I'll ask this to Danny.
Oh dear.
This is from Christopher Barrow, and he said, do you guys think playing Sanogo against European champions was a good idea? Why play a new player who's just come back from injury and never played in the top flight over Podolski, who was our best finisher and who scored 4 or 5 in the last 4 Premiership 5 games?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was a good idea. I want to see Sanogo start the next 2 games against Sunderland and Stoke, because that's the kind of level you want someone to come in against after they've been out injured. And I think they're about his level at the moment. Come in there, maybe score a couple of goals, get the confidence up. But when you come to playing against Bayern, I would rather have seen Podolski playing up front, which I've already proved on Twitter today that 2 whole seasons for Cologne he was a striker, or playing in the Bergkamp hole. I think over the last season he played 2 or 3 games on the left wing for them, and the season before that he played none on the wing. Spent his entire time, and he was banging in goals left, right and centre, getting assists, and he's had very little time to prove that for us. Bentner, I don't know what's going on with Bentner. He's out at the end of the season. I think Podolski will be going out at the end of the season as well. But you can't. Why chuck a player in when he's had no experience at that kind of level. It's just, I think Wenger was trying to make a point against Giroud. You've done wrong, bad boy. Sit on the bench, fair enough. But then making Podolski sit on the bench and not play him in such a big game. But there again, just think what Wenger would have done if Sanogo would have scored a goal. He'd have sat there all pleased as punch, would have gone, yeah, that's me, I'm Wenger, I've discovered him, I put him in, you all thought I was wrong, but that didn't happen, did it?
What do you think, Daniel?
I think it's a hard one because Podolski is our best finisher. I actually think Podolski should have been on the pitch, maybe not as the lone striker. I think he maybe should have been out on the left, possibly. Maybe Santi on the bench. I think it's a shrewd move playing Sanogo because Podolski, his role in the team is not as a striker. He can play as that role, but it's not why he's in the team. I think the question that Podolski should be asking, or Podolski fans should be asking on the manager, is why isn't he playing on the left? Why is Santi playing over him? Or why is Gnabry and Oxlade-Chamberlain getting minutes ahead of him when Santi could play on the right and he could play on the left? I think it's shrewd for Wenger to play Sanogo because once Bentner leaves, Sanogo's going to be our backup striker, so he is going to be in direct competition with Giroud unless we buy someone, which hopefully we will. And I think it's good. It's clever because Giroud's head's not really in the game at the moment. He hasn't really been performing well. So if Sanogo comes in, surprises a few people as he has done, puts in a few good performances, it's only going to be good for his development and for his confidence. And then when Giroud finally gets his chance back in the team, he's going to hang on to that for dear life. He's not going to want to give up his position to a guy who's only had a sort of handful of appearances and who by rights shouldn't really be in the team ahead of him. So I think it'll work out for the best.
And to play devil's advocate, I mean, I think any German player, and especially one who's got the caps that Podolski's got,
who's dragging a dead body around.
Sounds like he's sitting next to Darth Vader.
Oh, don't, because you get Cowan doing his Bane impression.
No, I won't be doing my Bane impression, but we did have GC on the podcast week. Was it Darth Wenger out?
Go on, Steve. Sorry.
To play devil's advocate, I think one of the if you looked at Podolski last night, his face was like thunder. He wanted to play in that team like last night against Bayern. He's got, he plays all those players in the German side. He wanted to play because Joachim Low was in the crowd. But the reason he didn't play, in my opinion, goes back to his performance when he came back from injury against West Ham, when he played up front, and he was bloody appalling. He didn't act as a fulcrum. He kept drifting out of the top of the pitch into the left. He got in Cazorla's way. He didn't know what he was doing, and he wasn't harassing their centre halves. And his work rate defensively is terrible. Don't get me wrong, the guy's a brilliant human being. To come out and defend his teammate Ozil like he did today was fantastic. And he's a lethal finisher, and he's got a walloping shot on him. And I just think the problem is that Wenger feels that to include him in a game where we're now after so many trophies and we can't afford defensive mistakes or shit defensive cover, his lazy work rate, that's why he's not getting put in the team, and I think that's why Sanogo got put in ahead of him. Have you got another Twitter question for us there, Danny?
I certainly have. Right, this one I want two names from each of you. This person is at SANTHOSHKS. I think he's just put fucking letters in a bag and pulled them out. Well done, sir. Who are the 3 players from the current squad you would like to see end their career at Arsenal? I've had a little bit of a think about this, so while I talk on inanely, you can have a little think. I would pick Wilshere, Ramsey, and the Ox, and Chesney would be a very close third place with fourth place with Gibbs. We'll go to Jeff. Who would you like to see there, sir?
Per Mertesacker. I'd love him to end his career at Arsenal. I think he may do. He's got a really, really good chance of that. I think Chesney might end his career at Arsenal. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that Ozil might also end his career at Arsenal.
Oh, that's. I thought we'd all go youth players. Steve, who are you going to have a punt on?
I would think Szczęsny will end his career at Arsenal.
He'll break the record though, wouldn't he? Appearances. He's never injured. Very rarely gets sent off.
No, I think the Ox will stay there, and I think Walcott will stay there.
Mr. Cowan.
All of the British lads will. If I'm going to pick three of the non-British lads, then Mertesacker, Santi, and Koscielny.
And the boy from the valleys.
I'd like to say,
isn't it?
yeah, that is, isn't it?
That's fucking awful.
I know.
Are you channeling the spirit of Stokes? Because he can't do accents either.
No,
I barely do a Bristolian, the minge.
It's terrible. I live here. They're all Mongols.
Funny, we recorded a sketch earlier, and we got to the part. Someone's got to do a Bristolian accent. James is from Bristol, and he said, "You can do it, Daniel. You do the Bristolian accent." What the fuck was that about?
Sums him up, the Lothario.
All I can do is curly whirly.
Curly whirly.
Get on with it, you lady garden. We haven't got all night.
I'd have Ozil just because his quality will eventually shine through, so I'd love to see him stay. Jack Wilshere just because the passion that he has, and Ramsey just because Ramsey will just get better and better every season from now.
Okay, I've got one. This person went to a lot of bother to send me this tweet in 5 tweets. I said explain it a little bit, so I'd like to read it out. This is from AFC Life 14. I'm in the process of writing a blog on my idea. We need to play an attacking 4-3-3, 1 defensive midfielder and 2 slightly higher attacking midfielders. This way we will be able to play Ozil and Santi together without having to sacrifice a true winger. This way we could have the Ox on the right wing, Poldy on the left wing, Giroud as a centre forward, and Ozil and Cazorla orchestrating the attack. Ozil and Cazorla could be our Iniesta and Xavi. The holding midfielder would come down to M8, which is Arteta, Flamini, Jack, or maybe even Rambo. Do you guys think it would benefit us, or should we stick to the more defensive 4-2-3-1 and stick in Santi left wing, keeping one of our most talented wingers at all times on the bench? Who understood that, and who would like to answer it?
I understood it. I'll go for it. I think the guy's drunk. I think it's just mendacious to try and compare Xavi and Iniesta to Ozil and Santi. No, that doesn't work. Completely different types of players. If you're gonna play that type of system, then you play Ramsey and Wilshere because they're not Xavi and Iniesta, but they're the closest we have in terms of playing style. So no, drink less, tweet less, be happier.
Well, it's just a blog idea, and when you're doing blogs, you've got to think outside the
rectangle. Yeah, no, I don't think it's not a good idea. It doesn't work. The system we've got works. We just need someone to score a few more goals.
Well, when he does do his blog, we will retweet it, and people can have because it's very hard to explain what he means on Twitter. Steve, you were murmuring there. What have you got to say about
that? First of all, I mean, you can't use Mikel Arteta in the holding role.
Not use him for anything apart from getting the cones out.
You can't use him in that holding role. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not an organiser. He gets knocked off the ball too easily, and last couple of games he's been terrible, giving the ball away a lot because he needs too many. He seems to want 2 touches for everything. That system just won't work. If you look at that midfield trio of Barcelona's of Xavi and Iniesta, both of those two can hold the ball off of anybody all bloody night. It's just not going to work. It's complete narcotics.
Have you got anything to say on this, Jeff?
No, not really. It's not the system that's the problem. It's the personnel that we have. We had a couple of players, and we'll be a top quality team. Don't worry about it.
Before I hand this Gooner love train back to the Lord Gimli, I'd say that any future Arsenal formation has got to be built around Wilshere and Ramsey as a central midfield too, because they can both defend, they can both attack, they can both hold, and they can both pass. Anything other than that is not going to work, especially with Wenger, with his insistence that a striker must also be a rush goalkeeper. Go on in, Gimli.
Yeah, I will say just they something that sprung to my mind. I saw a lot of people calling Mesut Ozil lazy after last night's game against Bayern. Did they actually know that he was either second or third to cover the most ground in that game? So anyone that called him lazy last night, or if you even did tweet that he was lazy, then you're a schmuck.
Probably they not know, but they probably didn't care, or Nursey turned off the TV before they could write in crayon.
Well, they probably thought they were watching basketball as they were licking the windows.
Dirty little trolls.
Right, so if I may have some predictions for you, and it is Sunderland at home, so we'll start with our guest, Daniel.
3-0.
And a first scorer, please?
First scorer? Oh, I'm going to go crazy. Sonogo.
Sonogo. Whoa. And you, Danny?
I'm going to announce here what the name of this podcast is going to be called. Are you ready?
Go on.
So, Sonogo, a no-no, or Sonogo, a go-go.
I was hoping it was gonna. Hours earlier, I was toying with "Wake Me Up Before You Sonogo." I didn't go for it. You know, it's funny. I actually wrote a blog in the summer when we signed him, saying something like "Yaya Sonogo, summer's a no-go."
And I'm going to end it with no limits with unlimited, too unlimited with no limits. No.
Prediction. Someone's want their dinner, for fuck's sake.
Sorry, yeah, because we forget that Steve's an hour ahead of us over there, and he needs to get his food in before he passes out. Right. I will say, who do you say we're playing?
Sunderland.
Yes, Manono coming back, going to be wanting to prove a point to Wenger. I think it's going to be 3-1, and first goal scorer, the Ox of
Fantastic.
Doom.
Steve?
Well, bearing in mind that I'm the first person who actually got the scorer right.
Well done, sir.
Against the bin dippers.
Get on with it. Someone's had our fucking dinner yet.
You're only having cheddars. You're eating them now anyway. I will go 2-0, and I will say that the Ox will score first.
Yes, that's how you got your points last time.
Fantastic. Jeff?
Well, keep it simple. 2-0 Rosicky.
Rosicky? Is he even start? I suppose, we're resting, weren't they?
Yeah.
Jeff knows.
And I'm going to go 2-1 Ozil.
Someone did ask Jeff, do you have any insight on why Podolski has not been playing? And where is Bentner?
Yeah. I don't think the manager fancies him. He's not a centre forward. It's as simple as that. And he's not really good at getting first choice with the midfield players that we've got at the moment. It's as simple as that.
Well, there you go. From Jeff's ear to your mouth, or whichever way around that goes.
From the horse's mouth. So
that's him.
We'll carry on with you, Danny, and let's have a shout out from you, please.
2 quick ones. One person that we all really like, who is at Kieran, KIERANC Photo AFC. Jesus, Kieran, you need to shorten that. He does all the reserve games, the under 18, the under 21 games. He takes all the photos. He has a brilliant eye for a photo. So go and watch go and follow him. Have a look at his pictures, because he goes to a lot of time and trouble, all out of his own expense, to do that. And another one, some bloke I was talking to today, who is at Sultan, SULTAN _ I think that's 10 or LO. Actually, I don't know. I'm looking at it. It could be either.
I think it's 10. He's a good guy.
Okay. Yeah, he runs. If you go to YouTube and type in Scout Report TV, all one word, I was amazed at some of the scout reports that he's done, and they're all done in HD as well, which is really, really nice. He's a top bloke, loves his German football, but like he said earlier today, Arsenal are by far his best team. And go and give him a follow, go and give him a watch, and have a look at some of those scout reports. Because there's one that he's done there for Dan Cowley, which was very impressive, because trying to get any kind of footage for that lot is quite hard, and he's done a great job. So go and have a follow of both of those good people.
And I understand you've signed someone up from The Guardian to come on the podcast, haven't you?
I have, yes. Can't remember his bloody name now.
Aduarte?
Fernando. Oh dear. Pretend like I knew what it was. Would you believe it? I'll go and click on my bloody messages on Twitter, and it's telling me there's an error. Fernando Duarte. He's a funny bloke. He was on the Guardian podcast this week. Go and have a listen to it with James Richardson on the Guardian website. He is a really funny bloke. He's Brazilian. and he knows his football, and he says Arsenal fans like to give him grief, so he's more than happy to come on. And he said it sounds like it's going to be a good laugh. So hopefully he'll be on quite soon, and we can all hear what he has to say.
Definitely. Your shout-outs next, please, Steve.
Right. I've got 2 shout-outs this week. Well, actually, really 3, but one's a couple. I'd like to shout out to the person that wrote this song, entitled "Senile Sweetheart," which was about me. I can't say who wrote it. And the other 2 are a pair of individuals on Twitter who have to remain, I'm afraid, anonymous. We can call one Snugs and the other one Miss Intrigue. They do listen to the show, and they'll know what I'm getting at. All I can say is, you dirty pair of little buggers.
Oh, saucy.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jeff next.
I've only got one shout out tonight. That's for me dinner. It's in the oven. It's fucking screaming to get out. So can I go, please?
Okay, Daniel.
2. One is at Goonosphere Pod. Obviously, it's my own podcast, but it's a new account, so.
My favourite our own podcast. It's right up there with the Guardian one. It's hilarious.
It's fucking awesome. My next one is for at Arsenal Ted. If I don't shout him out, he's going to break my legs.
And he's not happy about his prediction last night not coming
he's
through.
Not. He's really fucking angry. Actually, the other one more.
Your own Ted.
I'd like to shout out Paddy Barclay, who was very kind in spending some time with me talking about the Herbert Chapman book for the podcast. And if you guys will let us borrow Jeff, we'd like to have Jeff on when we've got Paddy Barclay in a few weeks and the guys from Red Action talking about some Arsenal crap.
Look at him name dropping. Fucking cut him off.
Hey.
That'll be 15 grand for that advert.
Well, we mentioned he has Arsenal on there all the time. All we do is talk about our one, so we'll let him play with it.
They never have me on there to talk about minges. I don't know why.
Sounds like we could be related, Daniel. Could be brothers.
You actually are on our list, Steve. I've just been waiting for James to ask you because I think you follow James, but you don't follow me, and we like to. No, we like to DM people to ask them for if they want to come on, so that way if they reject us, we don't look too bad.
You get a finances one, I'm sure Steve would be more than happy to come on here and put the world to right.
So now Gav's the only one that's not been asked since we started. No one wants him. My 2 shout-outs this week come from 2 lovely gentlemen that I follow on Twitter. The first one is Mark Tagg, and he is at Raggyroo80, and that's RAGGIEROO80. The second one being at Goonadell, and that is at Goona_Dell. Both tremendous fellas who tweet me relentlessly, and I apologise for not always replying. But yes, you're 2 of my favourite followers. All that's left now is to thank you boys for joining me and Danny this evening.
It has been an absolute joy.
Well, you didn't, because you didn't join yourself, did you?
Yeah, no, but none of these fuckers are going to reply, are they? Just sit there and go, come on, I want me food.
No, it's not that. It's the customary pause to have Tumblewood to piss the fucking 6-toed Welsh cunt off. Yeah, it's the law. We have to do it.
I can feel Jeff's dinner getting angrier as we speak.
I
want to keep it going now because I'm just thinking that Jeff's pie and mash is in that oven getting all black on the top and fucked up, and he's going to have to take his dentures out to crunch it.
So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and keep it Arsenal.
Nanu, you dirty minges.